Hey guys, welcome back to another video. It's me, heywil. This game, I didn't record audio all that well, and also I didn't speak all that much, so I thought that I would just record myself explaining my mindset and why I make certain decisions during this game. Anyways, this is just the Vladimir matchup. It's a classic range top. Okay, so we're running the electrocute setup. It's ranged squishy top. Electrocute is going to do great into him with short trades. Anyways, we want to play as aggressive as possible, starting level 1, getting in that really nice electrocute proc out, and immediately just giving ourselves like a chance to push the wave and hit level 2 before he does. You don't ever want to give range tops priority if you can, because otherwise they will just slowly poke you down and retain control and safety through the lane. Anyways, level 2 power spike, just get in a free Q2 and an auto attack. Anyways, Vladimir is a champ in the early game where he is just not all that strong. In a modern meta, he is seen as a lane bully, but that's just because of certain setups he takes and whatnot, but generally he is a champion that scales heavily with items and with levels because of his cooldowns, which give him like a lot of DPS and like high damage on every ability. However, in the early game, the only ability that really deals damage in this kit is his Q2, so as long as you play around that cooldown, you should be fine. Anyways, here you can just see I'm playing super aggressive. I'm like taking a few tower shots which I didn't need to take, but that's okay. I just get in a sneaky little free recall here after doing pretty good farming in the early game. Maybe buying coal isn't the best idea, but I did just want to test how it felt this game. Anyways, right here I see TV back to lane for instant pressure. He just wasted his W, which means he is absolutely useless right here. He cannot fight back in any way whatsoever without his W. And that's also another key, his main two things to keep your mind on, like his cooldowns, are his Q2. I don't think that kills. Are his Q2 and his W. As long as his W is down and you have your CDs up, you can just all in him anytime and there's really no counterplay for him. His Q2, you do want to be careful about that. It gives him the most healing if he uses it on a champion, and it also does a lot of burst damage. But that is basically his only real. Think of it like Jhin 4th shot. You want to avoid that. Anyways, here I'm assuming he recalled. He was pretty low from that ignite, so we just want to push in the wave as fast as possible. Here we're just sneaking in another free recall. So it's going to get in our longsword and rush back to lane as fast as possible. I'm most likely going to go lethality this game, just because I find that voltaic works best into Vladimir, as it works best on just really most ranged tops in general. Okay, step back, I get the cannon and avoid his Q2. Right there. He just instantly W's. So obviously every player is a bit different. You want to study the Vladimir and watch how he reacts to your certain abilities, whether he holds his W or he uses it instantly. Okay, here I just noticed that he used his W because he thought I was going in, and that means he is very, very open to just anything I want to do for the next 20 seconds. he wards there. I stepped back preemptively from that bush because I figured there was a high chance he's just going to ward it. Here he really messed up. He wasted his W. Didn't even dodge my poke. And then here he has no W, so I know I can just all in him. And then TF comes in as well. I think if the Wukong wasn't there, I could probably get out, maybe even kill. Unfortunately, yeah, Wukong is right there. And I don't think this Kane is going to get the kill. He's going to die to the Wukong. Trade flash for flash, but it's okay. As you know what they say, not my lane, not my problem. Okay, I don't actually believe in that. I do think that makes the game much more difficult for the rest of my team because Wukong gets a bit of a lead and he's quite a snowballing champion. But ultimately this is really good for my lane. It is a push into me, I believe. Might not be. I have to check again. Okay, well, it's not a great wave state, but that's okay. We get back to lane in time. And we're just going to immediately start playing aggressive once again. So quickly, just before his Q2 is on, I just get in that little extra bit of poke damage. Just going for that W auto Q out, electrocute short proc. There's a big chunk of his health. I'm just waiting for his Q2 to be used and I go in immediately. Okay, now you notice that the moment I go in, he just immediately wastes his W, and I'm like, okay, well now he's just dead. I just have to wait till it's over, and then I just Q. I have both my Qs up. I was holding it this time, and I just Q in, auto, Q out, big burst of damage. Nothing you can do about it. His lane is over now. In terms of scaling, I don't think. Oh, by the way, really quick wave push trick. You want to go to the middle side of any wave, so that way you're able to hit the most minions with your sweet spot as possible, right? If the casters are lined up on one side and the melees are on another, you're able to swoop like with your Q in a weird like inward like semicircle, and you're able to hit almost all of them with your sweet spot, and then that just completely one-shots the wave, helps you get in really quick. Also, about scaling, it's unfortunate I missed a cannon there, but that's okay. In terms of scaling, I don't think Vladimir outscales lethality Ambessa. I think Vladimir outscales Bruiser Ambessa, but as in lethality, you will almost always destroy him. Just going for a bit of poke there. I'm not ever really afraid of taking some damage from his E or his Q this early in the game. Sometimes if he does like a fully charged up EW, then I'll just instantly W because I could like block that big burst of damage. But otherwise I wouldn't ever worry about it much. Okay, here he uses his W, so that means he's very open to any attack I want to make. I'm trying to go like back and forth to bait him to walking up a bit, and which now he does. And I'm like, okay, yeah, he's just dead. Yeah, so again, a lot of champions will just underestimate how much damage you're able to do in those moments. Again, you saw me the entire time just walking backwards, walking forwards, walking backwards, walking forwards, just waiting for him just to step a tiny bit into my range, and then just immediately jump forward, E onto him, and then just burst him down. And then he flashes too late because my unstoppable auto is already locked on. We don't talk the miss cannon. We're just happy that we're getting our grubs. As you'll see later in this game, getting grubs is very important for Ambessa, right? You always want to give your jungler priority and help them get grubs if you can. that's just because compared to other split pushers, you don't have all that much power tower taking potential, right? Because even though you have your enhanced auto from your passive, that's not really much compared to other top laners who have a lot of attack speed and an enhanced auto attack reset that does extra damage, right? As Ambessa, you only have your passive, which is honestly risky to even use on towers because that requires you using all your abilities and putting them on cooldown. As to compare to, let's say Darius just using his 5-second W, or Camille or Jax using their like 2-3 second cooldown auto attack reset to just melt towers with Triforce. You don't get that leisure as Ambessa, so getting grubs is very important if you want to ever be side laning and potentially taking those tier 2s. Okay, here again I notice he just instantly used his W again, and I'm keeping that in mind for the future. So now, okay, I should probably start holding my Qs to bait out his W than just all in him. But either way, he's still, he's free gold for the next 15 seconds. And I'm like, okay, I'm just sending it. He stood still for one moment, he's dead. And I was waiting for him, like the moment he stands still, from casting his Q onto a minion. Because when champions are, farming, it's the same way when you're auto attacking a minion, you stand still, right? He has a cast time on his Q of like 0.25 seconds. So when he's stun locked for that short period of time, I just instantly send my ult. I know he has no W. I'm pretty sure he has no flash. I just QE for that electrocute, instant death. Use the traditional rush combo. Here, if he walks up, I'm just going to go for a quick pass the Q forward into E auto Q combo. But also, I do notice that he instantly pops his W now. So I just hold my Q. He barely gets out of range, but that's okay. Doesn't matter. If he walks up for the next 15 seconds, he's just dead. Yep, maybe he's typing into his team or looking down bot. I'm just going to kill him. End of discussion. And this is the great part. Everyone else is bot side, so because Vladimir is dead and I have grubs, that means I could just take this entire tier 2 for free. These tier 2s are extremely valuable. You're not exactly a split pusher as Ambessa, but if you can ever get those for free, you want to take them 100%. They just give so much gold and so much value. So if you already have a lead and you're able to acquire tier 2, you've basically, in my mind, I just think, okay, GG. I had a lead, I snowballed, but now this just completely cements us winning. I can take over the game by myself now. Anyways, right here I buy Edge of Night. The reason why I'm going Edge of Night over other items like Serpent's Fang or any defensive item is mainly because Twisted Fate, my mindset is, okay, if I jump around to Smolder to assassinate him, someone's going to instantly press R on me, right? And if I'm side laning, I'm either side laning against Vladimir or TF. If I'm side laning against TF, he cannot play the game against me as long as I have Edge of Night, right? Because he throws this card at me, like his Q, I can just dodge that or sidestep. But if I just ult onto him, he has no way to defend himself other than with his, pick a card ability, and then his gold card just no longer works. and I just one-shot him. Anyways, my mindset here in a mid game is I just want to be pushing in waves and looking for picks. I can roam mid, get a free kill on the ADC or support, right? Or if the other mid laner, like if the whatever mid laner or mage is showing up to contest me in the side lane, then I'll just get a free pick on them as well. Here he exhausts me, he yellow cards me, but doesn't matter because Edge of Night passive value. And here, just QE forward, and I buffer my Q2 through his gold card. That's very important, right? If you know you're about to be stunned, you can buffer almost all of your abilities. And now I am able to get a second tier 2. Thank you, Void Grubs, for all that help. But as you can see, like this is massive, massive Void Grub value. I just get another tier 2. I just got like thousands of gold in my wallet instantly. I can 1v9 now. And because I already know I have the damage to practically one-shot everyone, I no longer need to build lethality items. I'm happy with just Voltaic Edge of Night, and I'm going to start going for Death Stance. And you know, Death Stance actually synergizes with lethality items better than bruiser items, right? Because first of all, Death Stance scales off of AD, right? And generally lethality items have a bit more AD than bruiser items. And more importantly, Death Stance works better the faster you're able to kill the enemy, right? Because you're able to like negate more damage quickly. You're able to take less burn. You're able to, you know, just keep on surviving. It's kind of like why Aatrox, you know, there was the lethality Aatrox meta where it was just more effective because you heal more. Therefore, you even had better survivability because you killed the enemies quicker and you healed more for the damage you dealt. Same idea with Death Stance. With lethality, it synergizes very, very well. Here, I'm just thinking, okay, I can just go for another free pick on the TF. I just go for the Q, auto in, E into animation canceling immediately into Q2. Instead of going for an auto, just guarantees that slow and guarantees the Q2. Here, I don't particularly care much about killing the Wukong. I can't kill him. My goal is just to force the tier 1 in the mid lane to free up the rest of the map. Unfortunately, I don't think we're able to get it. But that's okay. We then want to be getting ready for bot lane drag. So over here, I'm just looking for like a potential pick. Nothing really ends up happening, so I just end up taking their red buff. And I'm just moving forward. If Smolder steps up to take the wave, I'm going to kill him. If not, and he backs off, I'm just going to take his tier 2. So I know that he doesn't have Sona anymore, so he's just a free kill. He's just a free 300 gold. That is all he is. Perfect. Yeah. Sona's top side. Anytime I see an isolated ADC and I'm lethality Ambessa, I will just send it on them. And you know, typically a lot of ADCs, they think, and this happens like, I have seen challenger players, like ADCs, just walk up by themselves without their supports in the mid lane, right? And to a degree, you know, you can see how it's understandable. Like they know that, hey, most of the enemy team is on the dragon or on this objective. I could probably walk up from under my mid turret and, you know, get this free wave. But then Ambessa, you know, you're one of the few champions in a game where you can just instantly teleport from halfway across the screen and just one-shot them. Like, I don't even think Echo has that range. And you really want to be taking advantage of that all the time. Here, I'm just greeting because I want a bit more gold to get my Death Stance. I know TF just spawned, but I'm not too worried. I know I can get out. Now that my team's walking up, I can go back in and probably just get a couple free kills. TF flashes out, perfectly fine. I know my Thresh is hooked onto the Sona. I'm just going to ult onto her and instantly pivot to the Smolder. That's a trick I like to use many times. If I see, you know, support and ADC are together, I will just ult onto one of them, but then instantly go on to the other. Because that is something that they won't expect. They'll be so focused on peeling whoever I ulted that they just leave the other person exposed. Here, the enemy team forces something onto my team. Don't know what they're doing. They never win because I'm there. And then I just go in. And then they're all dead. We kill them. In any case, I think Vladimir is a pretty good matchup for Ambessa. Very easy to snow off of. And you could just completely take over the game as lethality. Anyways, GG. Thanks for coming. I hope you guys have a great day.